Welcome back to the Ponderosa. I'm Seth Barnador, joined by Anthony Vito, Robert Steeg, and from the Bay Area Examiner Discord, legendary vegetable lasagna is here. We are having part of our. It's the summer. There's not a lot to talk about. There's, new. You've got search firms looking for ads. You've got all kinds of nothing going on for the most part. So we want to talk to our patrons. Have our patrons come on and teach us something. And vegetable lasagna was the first person to respond, and he said a Seinfeld side characters. I was all the way in. I know Vito was all the way in. Come to find out, Steeg not super into the show. So
That's putting it lightly.
So of course, what we've decided to do is we're going to have a Seinfeld side character draft here tonight. Steeg will have one of the picks, so we'll get to see how good his research skills are on the fly here. So it'll be interesting to see, Steve. We've got somebody that really has no idea what's going on here. We're going to get into some deep lore tonight, I think. Just by the name, vegetable lasagna. Steve, I don't know if you know that.
Didn't know that either.
That's a deep lore.
It's a deep cut. It's a deep cut.
Yeah.
When we first started this, I mentioned it last time. I said, I want this to be a series where I become educated because I'm so stuck in my Survivor and USF recruiting news that I'm like, I need to branch out. Please enlighten me about Seinfeld for once, because my knowledge of Seinfeld is essentially the Festivus episode. And then what's the deal with airplane food?
Yeah. It's the greatest show of all time. So you're gonna get in the deep waters tonight, Steve. So without further
throwing me into the deep end.
Without further ado, I guess before we go, vegetable lasagna. Why was this your pick? What's your Seinfeld? What's your background to Seinfeld?
Oh, it goes way further back than it should. Probably started watching the show before I should have been. Yeah. Spongeworthy was probably, my parents were like, yeah, we'll turn this episode off and skip this one. Yeah. So, TBS had the 2-hour block after school for a while, doing that instead of doing homework. And I said the best advice you want to catch up is having a kid. I remember with the newborn, had another 2-hour block on Comedy Central. Can't do much with a newborn. Yeah. Take a little contact nap and watch Seinfeld for an hour.
There you go. Vito, what about you?
So my family always, so I was the youngest of three. So my family always watched, it was religious every weekday, 7:30 Seinfeld. We made sure we had dinner and then we all watched it. And I was younger and my brother and sister were older. So sometimes they'd be like, oh, maybe those jokes went over their head. And sometimes they did. So then on a rewatch later on in later college, I realized I don't remember how hilarious this show is with some of these jokes, but I mean, for people who haven't watched Seinfeld and or any Larry David show, it's just there's so many one-liners you don't think are from this show that are originated from this show. It's probably one of the greats, especially one of the greats of its era as a sitcom too. Kind of did that whole TV primetime sitcom slot. Definitely one of the first I remember that, and Friends, kind of in that era.
Yeah, I was kind of in the probably watched it too early. This is one of my first memories of it is my dad was my Little League baseball coach, and we had a game the night of the series finale, and we were both just trying to get out of that baseball game as much as we could and get home to watch the series finale. He probably told some kids to steal when they shouldn't or something just to get some outs and let's wrap this thing up. So
yes,
that's one of my earliest. That's probably my earliest side memories. Just we're taping it, but we got to get there and catch it live. So. Little League baseball. Who cares, right? All right, so let's go through here and let's get the pick order. We'll do a random wheel.
Oh God, please, for the love of God.
I love this. Oh my goodness.
All right, let's spin the wheel.
What in the world? We haven't seen this, by the way, everybody. This is just out of nowhere.
Oh God.
Steve,
yes. With the confetti.
Do you want the first pick, Steve?
I'll take it.
All right. So Steve will have the first pick of the draft, the expert. All right, let's go. I guess we'll just go for the second pick here. Or you could pick it. vegetable lasagna. Do you want to go second, or do you want to pick one of the other picks?
No, I'll just go second.
All right, let's go there.
It's the classic Seth and Vito off.
Finally.
Oh,
Vito.
wow, that's like right in line. I'll be number 3.
All right. For me, we'll just let it ride one time, just
to see the name spin around.
That's pretty goofy.
just to get a win here.
You built it. You gotta, yeah.
All right. All right. So the order: Stieg, vegetable lasagna, Vito, and Seth, and it'll be a snake. So fourth, I'll go twice in a row. We'll come back the other way. Stieg, second and third round, you'll go twice in a row. Right? We're good on that. So let's go ahead and get this up so everyone can follow along.
Bam.
This is the most production we put into a podcast in a long time.
I feel honored.
Something I have no idea about.
Let's see if this works. Steve, I've been thinking about this draft for weeks now, months now.
You have had
You see
this
when
at
you-
the top of the list for a while.
Yeah,
You
that
see,
was-
when we pitched it, it took about a month for us to get back to you. It's because we had to get all of this through the works, you know.
I think I made a joke about this like a year ago, and I'm glad we're finally doing it.
and I was intrigued then. So I've really been thinking about it since then in my subconscious. All right, Stieg. A lot of responsibility here.
Y'all are gonna like groan. You're like, oh my god, like, why would you pick this person? Again.
Oh, so real quick, the rules are
Yeah.
before we start. Just basically everyone outside the main 4 is available. So we got I think I have my shirt here. We got George, Kramer, Jerry, Elaine, not available. Everyone else on the board. So Stieg, where would you like to go with the first pick here of the Seinfeld side character draft?
So, as mentioned, my extent of Seinfeld knowledge is Festivus, and basically that's it. Like that, I honest to God, could not name you any other characters, which is why this is going to be fantastic because I'm going through the Wikipedia of all the Seinfeld characters, and I was going through their little bios, and now I'm kind of getting interested. And I'm like, okay, maybe I do probably need to throw a couple of watches in here. But one name in particular, when I was doing my research earlier today, popped out at me so valiantly that I had to pick it no matter what. And I figured no one was going to pick it first. So I figured I was in the clear because it's a pretty safe bet because it's a funny thing. So my first pick is Dolores.
Okay.
All right, that is out of that is like if you told me I've only watched the Festivus.
Yeah, you guys probably were going in one direction. The reason why the Wikipedia entry, which is what I'm going to read for everyone's to give my reasoning on it, is one of Jerry's many girlfriends. He can't remember her name, only that it rhymes with a female body part. Vito, you can censor it if you want. Clitoris doesn't occur to him, and his best guess is vulva.
Yeah, it's great.
And as far as I can tell, it was only in 2 episodes. So I figured that's as side character as you could possibly get with like 5 billion Seinfeld episodes. So I'll take Miss Dolores as my number 1 pick here.
Excellent pick, really. Really a pretty good pick. Now, number 1 overall, especially after you said all I've watched is the Festivus episode. Probably not where we thought you'd be going with that.
Nope.
But
Not even in Festivus.
But anytime I can incorporate clitoris into this podcast,
what you'll enjoy watching that is some of the guesses for that.
Oh God!
I think Kitty was a guess. Then I think
That's definitely an episode I was too young, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't really get the jokes in this one.
Yeah. Mova was
Yeah.
is a class. All right. Well, what a layup for vegetable lasagna now. No.
I mean,
There's
this
a lot
is
of
like-
places to go, but so you've basically got, I would imagine, your entire board still left, or was Dolores on your?
Dolores was, I have like 39, and Dolores was not make the top 39.
Yeah, I'm
What
with you
we
there.
sh-
Now, to the depth of the show, fun character. You definitely.
Oh,
remember.
absolutely. So this feels like KD falling the second in the draft right here in my
Yeah,
lap. I'm going. What should have been the easy 1-1 is Frank Costanza.
Yeah.
Uh,
Steve, I thought you were going there for sure.
I wanted to, but honestly, Dolores was too funny not to pass up as a number one.
Dolores.
Especially, I think Frank's probably the Festivus episode probably is his best episode too. Is what I'd say.
Yeah, he's like the story about how he started it, all that. Yeah, the wrestling with George at the end.
and played by legend Jerry Stiller.
Yeah.
Yeah, he drives a lot of the like crazy stuff, especially towards the late. Like have you watched it, Steve? Have you watched any Jerry Stiller like in other things?
Not really, no.
So like King of Queen, I think like a lot of his stuff became derivative of Frank Costanza because of how good it was.
It's the same character, but it still works.
He has this loud, like robust voice that is just hilarious on TV, but you can still hear what he's saying. It's not like mangled or anything like that. But he just gets so outrageous. It's comedy gold.
So he actually like replaced the guy. There was somebody else shot it first, and he replaced him. And I think, and you guys may know this story, but I think they originally told him to play it really mellow, and that the wife was going to be the one that screams, and he's just like, "No, I'm just going to scream." And he did that. They're like, "Oh, that's much funnier. Like, just keep doing that." And it's great. Steve, if you go back and watch this, you'll see like he has problems remembering lines.
Yeah.
So you'll see him like pause and like close his eyes in the middle of delivering a line, and then he'll like spit it out really fast. So
I didn't notice. I thought that was just kind of like how he was.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah. So he's awesome. The bro.
The main
bro,
zero.
or the main zero. My minds can differ there. All right. So great pick, Frank Costanza. That was definitely in the early. There's a lot of ways to go here, Vito, though.
Yeah, so I'm actually shocked. I had kind of like a dark horse number one for me, but I feel like the next best layup is the mailman himself, Newman. When you control the mail, you control information. And my favorite line of his is one of my favorite episodes is the Keith Hernandez episode, but just like I hate Keith Hernandez. I despise Keith Hernandez. Oh man. But yeah, there's another one. He's always plotting with Kramer. But one of the best moments is exploiting the Michigan's 10-cent refund system. He's Jerry's nemesis, but it's always hilarious. And just like another just classic sitcom line of just Newman, just every time when he did something mildly inconvenient. So
yes, I'm sure, right, Steve, you've heard Hello Newman.
Yes.
Right.
No, that was
Newman.
Again, not many characters I know. Newman was the only other one that I could probably pick out of this bunch at this point, besides the main core four.
Any favorite Newman moments, vegetable lasagna?
Probably the one Kramer cancels the mail, or attempts to cancel his mail, and he gets taken by the powers that be in the mail service.
The Postmaster General.
Yeah, played by I'm blanking on the name.
Wilfred Brimley.
Yes, thank you.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Diabetes. Another thing, just to tie it back into Bayer Examiner, Wayne Elliott Knight, who played Newman, graduated from the University of Georgia. Go Dogs.
Oh, well, he
Not
goes
that.
down a notch in my book now. Well, yeah, Newman, great character. I think like one quick moment that's hilarious is like he's doing his evil laugh and then he's like sits on a fork that's in his couch and like has to pull it out. He's an excellent foil for Jerry. So
Yeah.
All right, so Newman is off the board. All right, so I get back-to-back picks. I think there's still a bunch of heavy hitters here on the board, but I'm going to go with a guy that I think, like, per line makes me laugh just about as much as anybody. I'm going to go with David Putty. Just his deadpan delivery of everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. The becoming the car salesman, the grease monkey stuff, the face painting, scaring the old priest, right? Isn't that what it was?
The Devils.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So I love you got to support the team, right? So Putty is Putty's great. The 8-ball jacket, the whole thing. He's just
When he becomes religious, that's probably the best one with Putty. When he becomes religious,
Oh, I
and
forgot
all the
about
presets
that.
are Christian rock. Yeah.
yeah.
He what I remember from that episode is when he comes out, and it's like, boyfriend of Elaine too, who's just like, you're supposed to be kind of high art smart, and she's like, why are you dating this guy? But he's dressed up in the devil's stuff, but they're all Rangers fans going to the game together, and then Kramer and Jerry walk in, and Kramer just looks at him and goes, just like does his like his whole like spaz out second, like, what are you wearing? I don't remember. I always remember that just being like comic hilarity.
And I think they got the term face painter as like a derogatory. He's a face painter, right? Isn't that? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
His delivery just killed me. He's one of my favorites. Just almost every line he gives is just perfect. So, and then on the wraparound here, I think I'm going to go with, and Stieg, this may be blow your mind that this is a character in the show. I'm going to go with George Steinbrenner.
Also to me.
It's funnier now that it's Larry David doing the voice, but you just see the back of his head basically the whole time, Steve. You never see him, just see the back of his head. There's a different actor that's just like gesturing really crazily, then Larry David just voices over it. And it's so funny. The calzone stuff, wondering if Lou Gehrig's disease is contagious. Right.
The Billy Martin rant is probably the best peak there.
This one is more towards Frank Costanza, but they think George just leaves his car in the parking lot, Steve, and because he wants everyone to think he's getting to work early and leaving late, and he has somebody to move his car just so it didn't have menus on it, I think, right? And they crash the car, so they bring it back and it's all crashed. So they can't find him. They think he's dead. And Steinbrenner calls Frank Costanza, and then Frank Costanza starts berating him for some of the trades he's made. And they just start talking about
Jay Buhner.
They start talking about, I thought this guy come back. I thought he was a good bat. Buhner wasn't proven.
You don't know what the hell you're doing.
They just have in the middle of saying, George, your son is dead. They just have a conversation about bad baseball trades. So I love this Steinbrenner stuff was great. So I'm gonna go George Steinbrenner. So Vito.
All right, so it comes back to me.
I want to say quick fun fact. Did you know there was a Steinbrenner cameo they filmed that never aired?
Oh.
Yeah.
So go on YouTube after this, and actually the real Steinbrenner they filmed with Elaine and The Office, meeting George, and I guess Larry just watched it back and like, yeah, he can't act. We're not putting this in the show.
This is funny. Yeah. It's funnier when I do it.
So pretty ballsy, the big time Steinbrenner in real life.
Yeah. All right, Vito, back to you. There's still a lot of heavy hitters on the board here.
Yeah, so my first round pick in the back pocket is still here. I'm going to give a tip of the old sombrero or old urban sombrero to this fellow, Mr. J. Peterman. Some of my favorite one-liners: Elaine's boss, the J. Peterman catalog. I just love when he's out in Burma and gives her tells Elaine, you have to run the company because Kramer says you can do it. But the ongoing joke of he's in Burma, isn't it Myanmar now?
Yeah. It'll always be Burma to me.
Yeah, it'll always be Burma to me. One of my favorite lines that he always said was, the toll road of denial is a long and dangerous one. The price, your soul. I always think about that when I go under a toll road. Just like a handsome man, dresses really nicely, always has funny zips. Quality character.
He's great. Yeah. I love J. Peterman. He was on my like early board.
Same. Best episode, the one with him and George, though. The Bosco episode. He killed his mother. His name is George. He killed my mother.
Yeah. Oh, Steve, you're gonna enjoy this so much when you get to go back and watch.
Yeah.
There's so much content. All right, vegetable lasagna. We're back to you.
All right. So you guys took pretty much all my high draft picks at this point. So luckily the list is pretty good. But we're gonna go with Uncle Leo himself.
Oh, that's beautiful. Hello.
Oh, Uncle Leo. Yeah, big fan. I just love also the fact too they all call him Uncle Leo, even Elaine.
When she has to draw
So-
his eyebrows.
Draw the eyebrows on, stealing from the bookstore. All elderly people steal. Just small stuff like batteries, not a felony.
He just looks like your typical uncle too. I think they always had him in suspenders.
Yeah.
He had the mustache.
The tweed jacket.
Yeah.
He breaks up with his girlfriend because she laughs at Jerry's joke and says she's an anti-Semite, right? Wasn't that?
Like, you're a catch. You got to put yourself out there.
Oh man.
You look like Grim Death, which isn't far off. Oh, Uncle Leo's great. Steve, have you seen a picture of Uncle Leo?
I threw up Wikipedia, looked at Uncle Leo.
What a look!
I understand everything.
What a look!
I thought it was fake. I thought it was a little Photoshop of someone pretending to draw Uncle Leo, and then I realized, oh, that was
That's
it.
Uncle Leo. Yeah, he had his eyebrows blown off in one episode. It's good.
Being difficult.
Yeah. His poor medical chart. All right, Stieg, back to you.
I can't wait to see where this goes.
Back-to-back picks.
Back to back is scary for me. But luckily, I phoned a friend. I hope that's allowed on this.
Oh
this
yeah,
segment.
give him some credit.
No, so the next. Well, the next two really, but the next one is courtesy of my lovely wife Paige,
Oh,
who I have read the Wikipedia bio for, and don't know if I should actually say for my lovely wife Paige on this one. Estelle.
yeah.
I figured a safe bet on my side of things.
You could have had the couple there. That would have been big, Steve.
That would have been like a Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen situation.
Yeah,
but I'm still pleased with having Dolores just because of the Wikipedia bio for it. Please tell me
What a great
everything I need to know outside of her Wikipedia bio.
For Estelle,
Yeah.
the first thing that pops into my mind is there's an episode where George's fiance that has a doll that looks just like her. The doll, that one pops into my head. Yeah, she just is. Yeah, she also separates from her husband for a little bit and dates. So she's puts herself out there. And George says, "I'm out there. If I see you out there, there's not enough electricity.
We can't both be out there.
Yeah, I'm out there. Yeah, she's great. She's just she's like she fluctuates from being like super sweet into screaming like a maniac. She's a classic character. Her and
The
Frank.
all-time, treating my son treating his body like an amusement park might be the all-time one-liner.
Is that her? Is that her intro into the show too? Is that like
If it's not, it's very early.
Yeah, that might be her first line of the show, or like her first scene in the show. Steve, that's George gets caught doing something by his mother. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Everybody's nightmare.
She falls.
Not a lot of still storylines, but just great one-liners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
yeah, and she's got a lot of attitude. So she's great.
Just like my wife,
she's
right, fellas?
She also voiced Mrs. Potato Head.
yeah.
Rest in peace.
Oh,
I
okay.
know that one.
No.
I know that. That's a Disney reference.
There you go. All right,
Try
Steve.
that back in.
Where are you going? Where are you going the third round here?
Again, I
A
found a
wraparound.
friend on this one. There were two additional options that were given. I think both are still going to be available, but I have to, on account of it's the only other character that I recognize because my dad has made this reference so many times, but the soup Nazi.
Good pick.
I think it's a good. Yeah, it's a good.
That's a
pick.
steal in round 3. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. I finally Rob makes a good pick, or excuse me, Stieg makes a good pick. We're on the board. Yeah,
What have you heard from this? Because this one got pretty in the zeitgeist.
Yes.
After it was on, right? So what's the joke that your dad says with this, or the?
I just know he references it at random moments. when it comes to like I can't picture it off the top of my head when
Does
he
he hit you with
it.
the no soup for you?
Yes, the no soup for you. That's what it is. But like just at random moments, he'll blurt it out like a soup Nazi saying of some sort. So I just know he exists and he's important to my father. So this pig goes to Mr. Bob Steig. So that's all I've got. Other than that, the rest of these are just absolute ringers at this point.
I think this is one that, like, if you ask a lot of people, this will be one of the first ones that comes up off the top of people's heads.
Top episodes for sure.
Right.
Yeah, it's so iconic. But another low key favorite banger just showing up from my roster. Newman going jambalaya. Every time I see the word jambalaya, I have to say it like that. It's
And
like,
I feel like he does his hands and then like scampers off.
oh my gosh, he's got this tongue out. Like when you watch a show and a line just permeates through your entire life, you know it's good.
That's how I hear every time I read jambalaya. That's how I hear it. I'm with you on that. And Newman, just back to him, some great underrated athleticism from Newman. He ran a lot more in the show than you would think.
Oh yeah,
and he had some wheels. So, Sieg, Soup Nazi, great pull. That's an iconic episode. Iconic. All right.
This reminds me so much of when we did the draft where I didn't know the rules.
Yeah.
Yes, that was Steve. Went down. Just picked. That was a good one. And you ended up doing all right, I think, which is
Oh, I guess that's coming up again.
Yeah, well, we gotta start. We gotta learn the roster, boys. We gotta do a USF draft here.
Fuck. Oh, are we going to do a mid-roll ad? Hey, if you haven't seen it, check the Stampeding Through the Roster from AJ Dunn Poe. Get to learn the whole new roster from scratch because we all determined that it's hard to follow transfers in and out. So go for it on the Daily Stampede. Sorry, don't go there. The Bear Examiner Substack.
Yes.
To check that out. Mid-roll over.
Yes, Bear Examiner Substack. Every player on the roster, right? So far, we're up through 58 today is where we're at, right?
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of offensive linemen right now. Like it's actually hilarious if you read through all of them. Yeah. Him descending into madness with how many linemen he's been doing.
AJ slowly losing his mind as we get through. So hopefully we'll hit like a fullback here soon or something. So to help him out. But all right, vegetable lasagna.
All right, I'm going to follow in Steeg's footsteps here. The show thrives off side characters and mostly one episode characters. So I'm going to go with Bookman.
No, that's a great one. I thought I might be able to get him late.
I think that's the episode that really got me hooked from the start. So I got to go with what started it all.
Yeah. So Bookman is a library cop, Steeg, that traps down people that have held their books for too long.
What the fuck is this show?
He's so serious about it. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's one of the less crazy storylines I want to say too.
Yeah. It features some great flashbacks. But Bookman, he sticks out immediately, especially like in the early, I think when his episode was. Yeah, it's like a season 3 or 4. It is early on in the show. Serious about everything, and he will deliver his lines and like get up in Jerry's face, and like so he's super intense. Like he's like a real like gritty detective, but he's just goes after people that have not turned their books back in. So it's the
line delivery of PPs and wee wees is just so sad.
Or maybe.
His quotes are great. Like, I mean, a lot of them are like kind of semi-monologue, soliloquy type things, but like, just go read them. They're pretty funny, or just watch the episode. Yeah,
he comes in like a storm, delivers these like monologues, like killer, and then just leaves. And it's just he leaves just people in his wake. It's unbelievable. Bookman. It's like an ice cream man named Cone. All right, Vito.
Man, okay. So we've got some good stuff. Shoot. Okay. I think we're just gonna go quick. So Bookman was good. I was actually gonna go that route. So this pretty much kind of went through a lot of what I was gonna do. So let's go back. one of my favorite characters and a bit of an interesting kind of cameo if you look at it now. The dentist Tim Watley, another brief partner for Elaine, also played by Bryan Cranston.
With
some
hair.
you might know. Some the episode that I really remember that, and I distinctly remember that like my parents were like, "Oh, you probably didn't know what I was talking about." Is they're all going? They're Jerry and Kramer's dentist, and Jerry went to the dentist, and he went to go read one of the magazines, and it was like not Playboy, but
Penthouse.
Penthouse. That was it. Something similar. He's like, there was a penthouse in there, and Kramer was like, what's wrong with that? Jerry's like, well, it's like a sterile environment. Kramer's like, well, did you read it? Well, of course I did.
With the adult dentist.
Yeah.
He wanted to let the expletives fly.
Yeah, that was it. But him being played by Bryan Cranston always, like now, remembering now, it's like, oh yeah, that's Malcolm in the Middle, Breaking Bad fame.
Steve, Jerry thinks that Tim Watley is like it is a swinger almost, and he's kind of taking advantage of his patients as they're under the gas for procedures. Because Jerry wakes up, one of his buttons is he thinks his button's undone. He sees his assistant kind of buttoning her shirt when he comes out of the anesthesia, and the other one is he converts to Judaism.
That's my best one.
But
Jerry
thinks he only converts to Judaism so he can tell Jewish jokes.
And that's where Jerry as a Jew, offensive as a comedian.
Yeah. So Jerry goes and talks to a priest. He sits on the kneeler like it's a tiny bench. As he's in confession. Yeah, it's great.
Oh my gosh, I remember that scene too. He's like, so tell me your confession. He's like, well, first of all, I'm Jewish. He's like, well, that's not a sin.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I remember that now. Whoa, that opened up a whole new. Tim Watley. I'm gonna take it as a steal as round 3.
Yeah, Watley's a great pick. Yeah.
Anti-dentite.
Yeah, the anti-dentite, which they said they thought that was in the yada yada, I think, right? And they thought that was going to be the thing everyone hooked onto was the anti-dentite line, and everyone hooked onto the yada yada. So they were like surprised by that. But yes, Tim Watley is a great character. Steve, you'll enjoy Tim Watley.
I'm looking forward to it.
Label maker, regifting. Yeah, he was the regifter.
Going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yes. All right, that's a good one. All right, it's back to me here. Let's see. I have a list up. All right, I'm going to take one that, again, this is a one-off character. The dichotomy between the situation he's in and how he acts is very funny to me. I'm going to take the Bubble Boy.
Oh, yeah.
He's a boy that lives in a bubble, but he's very, very nasty and extremely mean and really loves playing Trivial Pursuit. He's the one-off, one-episode character, I think. Tries to kill George for a mislabeled Trivial Pursuit card, Steve.
Take it very seriously.
You just see these arms in these sleeves and rubber gloves just choking with his hands around George Costanza's throat. And, yeah.
I'm reading it right now. This is fucking hilarious. Oh
the Bubble Boy is a great character. So
there's definitely a gif of him trying to
strangle George. Anything gets George animated is a good episode. So that's a great pick.
And it's great. So George is losing seemingly in Trivial Pursuit. And the card is supposed to say Moors, and it says Moops because it's a misprint.
Yeah.
And George refuses to give him the point because the card says Moops. And so the Bubble Boy chokes him. And as he's choking him, George still says, it's Moops. And like with his almost dying breaths. He won't give the guy a win.
As he's doing pretty much a Make-A-Wish visit. We're supposed to be with Jerry.
And then you hear the sound of a bubble popping.
Yep, and that's it.
And then the town comes to kill them all. Yeah, somebody's attacked the Bubble Boy. Right. All right, so back to me here in the 4th round. I'm going to go with another one that's kind of he's not in a ton of episodes. He's not super consequential, and he's a little annoying, but he always makes me laugh. And he does have some lines that you still hear all the time. I'm gonna go with Kenny Banya.
Oh, good one.
He's of that's Gold Jerry Gold fame. Yeah, gets a date with Uma Thurman. All kinds of stuff. Yeah. So Kenny Banya, he's a hack comedian. Stieg, that Jerry, or he's a comedian Jerry thinks is a hack.
Soup is
I
a
think
meal.
it's a
Still debate being had 30 years later.
Stieg, do you think soup? if you had a dinner bet with somebody and you had to take them to dinner, but they only got soup at a dinner, would that count or not count? Since soup isn't he says soup isn't a meal, so it doesn't count. What side
soup
are you
isn't
on?
a meal.
So
Soup
you think?
You're in the Banya camp then.
Yeah, you're in the Banya camp.
He had every opportunity to order the swordfish
Yeah.
or whatever he was going to order, and he decided to get soup and just be like, "Oh, this isn't the bet."
Yeah,
And Jerry's
yeah.
like, "No, this is the meal. I don't want to hang out with you again."
He's great. He's not in a ton of episodes, but kind of an odd look, weird way to talking. But the Ovaltine bit is great. Yeah, the jar's round, the cup is round. They should call it round teen.
It's gold, Jerry. It's gold.
Yep.
So, all right, Banya. Steve's
He's
just
also
like
comedian.
Steve's just staring into.
Jeez,
The
what's wrong with you
abyss here.
people?
I hope Steve watches now.
Seriously,
Like, this show is absolutely horrible.
You guys are gonna see me emerge from this room in 6 months and be like, that wasn't worth it.
Revoke me from the Discord.
We all just have to sit in on the Survivor episode when he ranks all the Survivor characters with.
Yeah, I'll be out after like season 3 on that. I'll have 3 picked. All right. Back to Vito here. There's a lot of strong boards here. These are some strong teams so far.
Yeah, man, there's a few different ways to go. We start going into, these are side characters, so we start getting to some like, okay, one shots, and maybe the joke that the character brings on is more fun than the character. I'm gonna go with another Elaine partner. I guess I got a lot of Jake Jarmel, and this is literally the episode where he has to go to the hospital. And she's supposed to have a date with him at the movies, and the person at the movies tells him, "Hey, he got hit by a car. He's in the hospital." And instead of immediately leaving, goes to the concession stand to get juji fruits. So she then visits him at the hospital, eating the juji fruits, and he's explaining what happened. And he's like, "Where did you get those?" "Oh, I got them at the movie theater." It's like, "But didn't they tell you I got into an accident?" It's like, well, yeah. So then you got the candy. Well, yeah, he was right there. It wasn't like it was across the street.
The counter's right there.
The counter's right there. And then Jerry says, "Well, why didn't you eat it in the cab?" And she says, "Oh, I got popcorn. I ate that first."
This is the only reason I've eaten a juji fruit ever.
I would say the same as well.
Is I've got just purely from that episode. I've tried it a few times.
And strangely, yeah, and they're aggressively okay. I guess a very 90s thing, but this also is not the only candy related joke in this TV show.
No, there's some good ones.
So I'm also a big fan of the Jake reappearance with the glasses.
The round
I don't know if you guys
glass-
remember.
Yeah,
See, we won't tell anyone where they're from. And
Yeah.
assaults Elaine's boss. Oh, I'm trying to remember which one it is.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember that actually.
Is it Lippman?
Maybe, I think it was Littman
Yeah, the
at
publishing
the press conference.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kramer has them and gives them to her, or she gives them to her. Yeah, so yeah. Jake Jarmel is great. All right, back to vegetable lasagna here.
A lot on my board still. A lot of big hits. I'm going to go out of left field here. Unseen character, Bob Sacamano.
Oh,
Kramer's never seen, only mentioned friend.
Is that allowed?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's
It's a
mentioned a lot. Yeah,
he
Holy
pops up.
shit.
Check
His
this out for
Wikipedia
Wiki.
is
There are
long.
multiple unseen characters, so I'm going to go with this one. Honorable mentions we'll mention later if no one picks.
He sells fake Russian hats in Battery Park or something like that, right? He's like a guy where it's like something weird's happening. He's like, oh yeah, my friend Bob Sacramento does this or that.
Yeah.
Dot goes on in
You
multiple
never
episodes.
see him, but yeah,
he's like it fell off the back of a truck guy.
Yeah.
That's kind of like that version of that joke.
He's like Kramer's. It fell off the back of a truck, which Kramer himself seems like a fall off the back of the truck. So it's like, there's like even deeper levels to Bob.
Jerry allegedly talking to him on the phone with the Kenny Rogers roasters. Got to talking last night.
Sell sable hats. 20, 50 bucks. All right. That's a great episode too. All right, Steve, your last two picks here.
I've only got one available. I need to phone a friend on this other one. This one was specifically told for me to choose. And I was trying to find if this person goes by any other name, and I can't figure it out. But apparently this is a favorite episode of my wife, but the maitre d' from the Chinese restaurant.
Okay.
Deep
Not
cut.
a bad pick. Not a bad pick.
Yeah, I
Does
don't
he
even know
have a
what to
name?
call the guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he has one.
It just goes by the maitre d' for the Chinese restaurant. There is no other name for it. So have fun with that.
All right. I'll try to figure out where we can call him.
Also, the spelling of maitre d', that is the other fun part of this for you, Seth.
IMDb says Bruce.
Bruce, we'll go with Bruce. That feels a little.
Okay.
That might be a little racially driven, though, for some odd reason.
Could be. Very well could be. I don't want. All right. Yes.
The other guy's name was Jackie.
So yeah, that's what do you guys think about the Chinese restaurant episode? So this was one, Steve, that it was all shot. It was basically all in real time.
I heard it's like one of the first popular bottle episodes.
Yeah,
right?
It's all like the concept of it is in one location, all in real time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Basically. So it was one of those ones. It's like, oh, this show's a little bit different than like other standard.
It's probably considered the episode to start at. I usually tell people don't start with episode 1, season 1. Start here.
Yeah.
And that kind of sells you or doesn't on the show.
Yeah, and see, I don't remember that one. I remember of that episode. I couldn't tell you anything about it or what the actual storyline was for that show or that episode. So that's one I gotta definitely go rewatch now.
It's definitely one of the ones where you go back. Like a lot of Seinfeld is like it's definitely of its time because like cell phones would solve a lot of issues in Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Like that's like George's whole thing in this episode is trying to get on the payphone so he can call his girlfriend to tell her something. And she calls and the guy yells Cartwright instead of Costanza. And so he doesn't answer.
Cartwright.
Yeah. I yell Cartwright.
She say bad
I
word.
say, here, she say curse word and hang up. Yeah. Yeah. So which leads to a great George meltdown. So that's a good one. All right, Steve. And it is an actor that you've seen. Like James Hong is the name of the actor. He's in a ton of stuff.
I was about to say that's the thing that I think I'm really enjoying about looking this up is like seeing the characters' names and everything like that. I'm like I kind of am getting recognition a little bit based off of their appearances, but then I see the person, I'm like, oh, that's why they look familiar. But this is also in the 90s, so they look a lot more handsome.
There's a lot of like first time you see this person on TV.
I noticed that
show that really like went on to do a bunch of stuff. So all right, Steve, your final pick here. You got. I'm going to say you've got a pretty strong board. You've got some recognizable names, some big episodes there. I think you're doing fine.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate. Except for probably the Dolores pick, right? That's the.
I think it's still a recognizable. I think if you would have called it the Mulva pick, maybe that would have been even better.
The moment, yeah.
But I think
it's 1-1. It's pretty wild for 1-1.
But I think it's a respectable pick. Perfect. She might have got picked.
I'll go with that.
It goes with what Steve normally does when we do these drafts.
He drafts with his heart.
Yeah.
I definitely don't draft my head. I'll tell you that much. All right. I think I found the last one. It hasn't been taken yet. And my father-in-law makes this reference a lot to the. I don't know if it says to the character, but to the name is Morty.
Yeah. Morty Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm. He calls every time we are ready to leave an establishment. And if this is a Seinfeld reference, you can let me this know, or if it's some other TV show I've never heard of before. But he always he's like, all right, Morty, it's time to go, or something like that. Like he always signs me off with Morty, and I have no idea why.
I don't know.
I don't know if Morty's an important character or what.
He's in a bunch. He's in a bunch of episodes. He's important. He's Jerry's dad. And the thing I remember is my wallet's gone. The screaming, my wallet's gone. Yeah. And
I don't know. Like it's always him and Jerry's mom always arguing. The only one I distinctly remember is I forgot he's always fighting with his one neighbor who's in charge of the HOA or something. And I distinctly remember
Jack
Wampus.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, yeah, that's actually probably a good pick. I just distinctly remember he gives Jerry a pen, and then Morty just goes absolutely bonkers. Like, well, why'd you have to do that?
Yeah.
He loves that pen.
Yeah, he gives him an astronaut pen that can write upside down.
But he freaked out.
So
because,
he's pissed because
rivals with this guy who's the head of their condo association or whatever.
I say either running for condo board is definitely the best Morty storyline. I want to say.
Yeah.
No.
That or the Cadillac, or it's one and two right there for Morty.
And he gets impeached. He gets impeached from the He gets impeached from the condo
and it has
board.
Kramer as the shadow, the shadow president. He tries to instill.
Yeah.
All right, confirmation. The Morty that my father-in-law references is not the same Morty that he's referenced as Morty Seinfeld. So
I think it's still a good. I think it's still a good pick, though.
Yeah, the parents are always good. They show up a lot. They shape the characters. Is the Morty that your father-in-law references from Rick and Morty?
No.
That's what I thought too when he said that.
If my father-in-law watched Rick and Morty, he would melt.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm meeting him a little bit at your at you guys' wedding.
Morty Seinfeld, the rain jackets or the trench coats.
Rain jacket salesman.
Yeah.
The wizard, the stolen wizards.
The Willers.
You think they're hot? They might be.
The B plots in these episodes are so hilarious. I know it's okay, there's a lot of different, sitcoms out there that kind of follow the same blueprint, but Seinfeld was, I don't know, maybe it's because growing up watching it helped shape me, but it was different.
It's so good. It's a tip calculator. No, it does more than that.
It's more than that. Morty's just the perfect, all this league in Florida, the elderly Florida person.
Yeah.
Just,
the retiree.
We all know one. It's all Morty Seinfeld. It just feels like to me.
And for some reason, they hate, Jerry's parents hate George Costanza's parents. And that's another underlying tension is they hate each other. So
the Frank rant, we're gonna be in the pool.
Yeah.
We're gonna get shuffleboard. All time rant.
There's no place available in all of Del Boca Vista. Show me this in all of Del Boca Vista. All right. Vegetable lasagna. Here's the question: do you take your namesake?
That is the great question.
Is that a draftable character? I think
it might. Oh, it definitely is a draftable character. Speaking role, is it too obvious? I'm gonna go with too obvious, so I'm gonna go with Jackie Childs. A reference I didn't get at the time at all, considering I was one during the OJ trial. But
I thought that was slipping to me. Oh man, dang it, Jackie Childs. Great lawyer, Steve. Very. Great. You may have the initials may tip something off too.
He's the Johnny Cochran stand-up.
Reference.
I was like, wait, what's the reference?
Johnny. Yeah, he's Johnny Cochran. He's great. He's Kramer's lawyer for a couple suits Kramer has.
The smoking episode, probably the best one. Your case is my face. Or my case.
Outrageous, egregious, preposterous.
makes her the caddy tells her to put the bra on over, and they
Another
redo
reference I
they
did not
redo
absolutely get when I was 12 years old.
they make this lady put a bra on, and she acts like she can't get it over, like OJ can't get the glove on. It was the same. It was just in a court case. Yeah, it was. Oh, Jackie Childs is a great one. Fast talking, like just like mile a minute one liners coming, and playing off Kramer, who's usually done something insane, is always very good. So, dang, I thought I was falling. That was gonna be my last pick. All right, Vito, where are you going here?
Whew, buddy. Okay. I think I'm gonna go with. I don't know. So I've got all dudes. So like I just realized that. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit and go with Susan, who was George Costanza's fiance. And the only reason this resonated, might resonate with you, Steve, when we were doing our invitations. So Susan unfortunately finds her demise because George wants to use a very cheap invitations to send out, and they warn that's like, oh, they have it doesn't have great it doesn't
adhesive.
have not glue, but doesn't have great adhesive. So she's doing all of them and licking and licking and licking, and then eventually goes to the hospital, and then the doctor comes out and says she didn't make it. And George is like very deadpan. It's like, well, what happened? It's like, has she been around any like really cheap adhesives? Like, well, we just sent out we were going to send out our invitations. Oh, that did it. We were expecting 200 people.
Yeah. So George is engaged, and his fiance dies from sending out their wedding invitation. So
Just again, because it was my parents, my mom and dad helped me with our invitations. We were sending them out. Save the date, send the invitation. So she literally was like, "Oh, we're gonna get a bowl of water." I was like, "Why that?" And she's like, "Well, you remember the Seinfeld episode?" And I went, "Oh." So you don't lick all the you don't lick all the envelopes. So I'll go.
I'm
go with
blanking
Susan.
on what does the doctor say when George's response? When he finds it, like mild surprise. I cannot remember what the doctor said. Like not grief, not upset. I cannot remember what the doctor says in the hospital when Susan passes away.
Yeah. When he's on the stand.
Yes.
Talking about,
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah, he looks and that like I that because like George doesn't have any emotion whatsoever outside of just like what?
Huh. Yeah.
I think he shakes his hand, thank you, and just like walks away or something like that.
And so you want to get some lunch?
Oh, here's restrained jubilation. Which is accurate, probably.
Yep.
George is very trying to get the wedding called off. Yeah, the way she laughed at him with the prenup.
The best Susan storyline when George tries to get the break off the engagement, he starts smoking. Oh, I don't like this at all.
No. And when she goes to a store, and just like part of the times is like, oh, we're looking for wedding invitations. Oh, congratulations. And gives a binder. Here's a binder of all of her invitations. The most expensive ones are at the front. He literally like pulls up the last page, big old flip. It's like 100 pages big. So just a clunk. You hear everybody laughs. He's like, how about this one?
Yeah.
They don't make that anymore.
She nearly becomes friends with Elaine, and George gets upset because he says his worlds are colliding.
A George divided cannot stand.
She also briefly became a lesbian in the middle of the show.
Oh, that's right.
So she's introduced as like a TV executive who dates George. She then becomes a lesbian, and then her and George get back together, and then she dies. So yeah, she had a wild run on that show. And you go back and think about it.
Man.
So all right, so it's down to me for the last pick in the draft. So I don't know. I really thought I was going to get Jackie Childs late. I got to think about that. Another one, if I'm going just off of like guys that made me laugh with their line delivery, not super consequential to the show, but I'm going to go with Mr. Kruger, who's George's boss for Festivus, the Festivus episode, but he just does not seem to care at all about the company he owns and runs. He's looking at the financials. He's like, "Well, boy, we really took it on the chin last year." Huh? And he also his sons throw George's clothes in the ocean,
which is his first episode, I'm pretty sure. Which is a great introduction.
Boy, you really lost a lot of hair.
I've been told.
And yeah, he's got a growth mole that could be cancerous. But George, yeah, that's a long explanation.
That's a very convoluted storyline.
I'd have to do a 5-minute explanation to explain it to Steve. But yes, he goes to Festivus because George gives out. I think I might have one. Yeah, hold on. George doesn't. George is so cheap. He doesn't want to give anybody Christmas gifts, so he gives everyone one of these.
Donation to the Human Fund,
a charity he created.
People helping people.
Yeah. So, and then he gets caught by Mr. Kruger, and George says, "Well, it's because I don't celebrate Christmas. I celebrate Festivus." So we've seen that one. See, but yes, the Human Fund.
Oh my gosh!
So
the Human Fund. Jeez.
Yeah, they ruined the Statue of Liberty apparently in the Seinfeld universe. So they're all
just the nose down too much.
Look, he just couldn't get that green stuff on. So yeah, we'll go with Mr. Kruger. He's not like super. I think there's maybe some others that like could be better, and so I guess we can start talking honorable mentions. So, vegetable lasagna. How many did you have left?
About 15. So we don't have to go down the list of that. But it's going on Kruger. A lot of good bosses because I also had Mr. Lippman.
Yeah, I think boss. So we were talking before on like what could have if we want to make it categories, like girlfriends and boyfriends, like spouse, like that could have been one. I think bosses could have been another one.
Bosses going because at Lippman, Mr. Pitt, both great. Elaine bosses.
George's boss at Play Now for like a very short time was fun. Like the
pretend to be handicapped. That's great.
Yeah. Explaining these, you're like, this is not like the best sounding thing. We're explaining some of these to Steve here, but yeah, there's some great bosses in the show. Like George
once again ask, what the fuck is this show?
Exactly. Yeah. So. We go down the line. If we do the round, some other honorable mentions that it's like okay, like one-time girlfriends or whatnot. Man hands, which I don't even know.
That's a good one.
Yep.
The Two-Face
was
a good. The Terry Hatcher. They're real and they're spectacular.
Yeah,
I had the low talker.
I had the low talker on my list. That was almost my final pick.
Yeah, that's. Like and they were all just like, okay, you're great in these moments, but is the bit funnier than the but they're real and they're spectacular.
I thought that and then low talker with like coupled with the puffy shirt.
Just where the storyline goes. That's what makes it the best one.
Yeah. So I was thinking about her with my final pick there.
Another one that we didn't talk about is Babu Bhatt. You bad man, Jerry. Yeah. Very bad man.
Yeah,
he comes up a lot, and another famous actor. But I'm trying to remember. Is it like Jerry's supposed to get his mail and then he gets deported or something like that?
Yeah,
there's two different ones. That's the last one when he gets deported. Then he had the restaurant. Like, you should try. I can't remember. It's Pakistani. You try Pakistani food, and no one goes. He goes immediately. The restaurant closes.
Yeah, his immigration notice is accidentally delivered to Jerry's mailbox, and he doesn't pass it on to him. Mm-hmm. So he gets deported. Let's see. Mickey was one that I had on my list. Little person who was like a great foil for Kramer, because they'd play it like he'd overpower Kramer a lot. So a lot of like good physical comedy there. So who else do you have on your list? Lloyd Braun was another one. I thought
Lloyd Braun might be my next one. If I had another pick, would be Lloyd Braun.
People that were on a few episodes. He originally started as aide to Mayor Dinkins, right? And then
Had the
ends
name
up
tags. The idea was the
crashing
name
out.
tags.
Yeah.
It got from Kramer or Jerry, whoever.
Yeah.
And the mental break. Serenity Now. It's one of the best episodes too.
The as he sells as he hits the bell to sell the computer, my brother will do that that like turn and smile, like huge smile face. My brother does that to me all the time. Almost every time I see him, he does that ding, and then turns and does that big
Serenity
smile.
Now and Sandy later. Just an all-time line.
Yeah.
And Kramer, he's the gum guy too, right? They go get like $500 worth of gum or something like that.
Seems like a lot of gum.
Am I crazy or no? You're not.
That's what it was.
Who else did you have on your list? Vegetable lasagna. Let's see.
If I had to do all-time significant other, I had Brett, who you don't probably know by name, but the Desperado guy, as Elaine's boyfriend. Probably my favorite significant other, just spacing out during Desperado.
What other Elaine boyfriends did everybody? Tony was a good one.
Tony.
The Mimbo. Yeah.
The male bimbo.
Yeah. The male.
Who George had the crush on.
He was very handsome.
Joel Rifkin was another one that was fun. The Communist was a good one.
Communist is the all-timer. Name names.
Oh, man.
Got me blacklisted from Hop 6.
I still can't. I gotta watch this episode. I still can't. I can't get over. It's Moops, you jerk.
Yeah, as he's like breathing his last breath, he won't give it up. It's a classic George.
I didn't know if it was cheating, so I left it out. But it said the Rosses as a couple.
Yeah, I think
I
think they could have gone together. Yeah.
Or even before she dies, with the Marble Rye, all-time good one.
You're going out to the Hamptons with George.
The fake Hamptons house, yeah. So we all think he killed her, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, but fellas, this is one of those things where it's like we generally try to shoot for like half hour, 40 minutes, and we're over an hour. This is a great show, but we'll let you. As it's almost past 10 o'clock.
I thought a couple more. I thought the doctor was. I don't know. I didn't know if he would be worth a mention or not because he doesn't get a name. But the doctor because he does the Junior Mint. He explains the Junior Mint and he delivers the news to George that Susan's dead. It's the same guy.
So that's the same doctor, Dr. Wexler.
Yeah. So I thought he could have been, and then Frank Costanza's lawyer, which was just Larry David in a cape.
Larry David in a cape.
Yeah. So I thought
also like unseen characters. I had Cousin Jeffrey.
Yeah, that was another one.
As one we never see as well. That's a good one.
I think Lomez was the other one. That's another Kramer.
One.
Marcelino with the cockfighting and refusing to take the check, Jerry's check down.
Little Jerry Seinfeld.
The even I am not above the so I can't take your check down. It's store policy. It's like it's your store. Even I am not above the policy. Yeah. And then Slippery Pete, the rogue electrician that George hires to move his Frogger machine that doesn't know what an outlet is.
It's got the holes.
Yeah.
And there's a legitimate Frogger moment of them moving the Frogger in traffic, top down.
We might have to do an episode draft here. We might have to double up.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah. So
Vegetable, we're gonna have you back on because we just need to.
And vegetable lasagna is just an.
I left him out. I feel a bit too obvious.
But there's a character seek named they called vegetable lasagna. That's a great foil. I forgot to mention, like Putty invented raw dogging. Right? The raw dogging a flight. Have you seen him come out and say talk about it? The actors come out and talked about how he invented raw dogging a flight because Putty just stared straight ahead for an entire flight back from Europe. Didn't read, just stared.
Coming home in a body bag.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just stared straight into the tray in front of him the whole time. So, all right.
I Googled it. I understand the reference now.
He's great.
Man.
So we could probably do a whole Seinfeld spinoff podcast at this point probably, but
or do a curb one next if honestly.
Well,
yeah. So thank you, Vegetable Lasagna, for coming on. Excellent job. So the picks are up there. Stieg took Dolores, Estelle Costanza, Soup Nazi, Bruce, who was the maitre d' at the Chinese restaurant, and Morty Seinfeld. Vegetable lasagna took Frank Costanza, Uncle Leo, Bookman, Bob Sacamano, and Jackie Childs. That's a strong squad.
It really is.
Vito took Newman, Jay Peterman, Tim Watley, Jake Jarmel, and Susan. Another strong squad. I took Putty, George Steinbrenner, the Bubble Boy, Kenny Banya, and Mr. Kruger. So we probably could have done like 10 rounds and found
Who's we?
Yeah.
But just a classic show. So I enjoyed it. Thank you so much for bringing this topic to us, Vegetable Lasagna.
I appreciate you guys having me on for this. Yeah, it was a good time.
I've been looking forward to this. So we'll have to we might have to get the episodes going at a later date. But thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being a patron. We appreciate you being with us and being active in the Discord and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys want to hear more from Vegetable Lasagna after he acquitted himself so well in this draft, join the Bear Examiner Discord. Join the Ponderosa. You can do that for $5 a month to get to the Ponderosa section where Steve gives out his insider recruiting nuggets and all the good stuff. We don't have Steve here for Seinfeld. We've got we've got Steve here for real work. So, and he puts all that in the Ponderosa. That's $5 a month, $10 a month gets you extra podcast episode, which this would usually be. We're going to make, since this one's so fun, we're going to make this one free and use it as kind of a preview, so you can kind of see some of the stuff we do off the side here on the Ponderosa here during the summer. So, Vegetable Lasagna again, thank you so much. Awesome job. We appreciate you being a patron. And everybody else, thank you for watching. Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.
Bulls.